America is often called a young nation. Compared to ancient civilizations like India, China, or Egypt, the United States seems almost new. But here's the shocking truth. In just a few centuries, America has witnessed invasions, colonization, revolutions, wars for independence, cultural clashes, and political experiments that reshaped the modern world. And the evidence of all this history is not hidden in textbooks. It is carved into cities, streets, buildings, and even everyday phrases people still use today. When we talk about American history, we usually think about big events like the American Revolution or the Civil War. But history is not just dates and battles. History lives inside cities, where power was challenged, identities were formed, and ordinary people became part of extraordinary events. That's why today, we begin a deep dive into one of the most historically important cities in the United States. This is San Antonio, Texas. San Antonio's story begins much earlier than modern America itself. In the year 1718, long before the United States even existed, Spanish colonizers established a mission here called the Alamo. At that time, this land was already home to Native American tribes who had lived here for generations. What followed was a long and painful history of colonial control, religious conversion, and cultural domination, something that happened across much of the Americas. The Alamo later became the center of one of the most emotionally charged chapters in American history. During Texas's fight for independence from Mexico, a small group of Texan fighters made a last stand inside this mission. They were defeated, but their sacrifice became a symbol. Even today, the phrase, "Remember the Alamo," is not just a slogan. It represents resistance, identity, and the power of storytelling in shaping national memory. But San Antonio's history does not end with one battle. Scattered across the city are multiple Spanish missions, built centuries ago, that tell the story of how religion, empire, and architecture were used as tools of control. These missions are so well preserved that in 2015, they were declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site, a global recognition that San Antonio's history is not just American history, but world history. As the city grew, San Antonio became a melting pot of Native American, Spanish, Mexican, and later American cultures. This mix is visible in its historic buildings like the San Fernando Cathedral, one of the oldest cathedrals in the United States, and the Spanish Governor's Palace, which reflects colonial power structures of its time. Museums across the city don't just celebrate victories. They also quietly reveal uncomfortable truths about displacement, conquest, and survival. Even the famous River Walk, which today looks modern and lively, flows through layers of history. Beneath the cafes and walkways lies a story of urban development, cultural reinvention, and how cities rewrite their past without completely erasing it. San Antonio is not frozen in history. It is a city constantly negotiating between memory and modernity. So when we study San Antonio, we are not just studying one city. We are studying how nations are built, how narratives are created, and how history chooses its heroes and its silences. This city reminds us that history is not always clean or comfortable, but it is always important to understand. And this is only number 10 on our list of the most historical cities in America. If one city alone carries this much complexity, imagine what the others reveal. Because history is not just about the past, it explains the present. And if we ignore it, we risk repeating the same mistakes, just in a different time.